Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. Now we will discuss about the making of Pan's Labyrinth. I didn't demonstrate power relationship and class struggle in this movie, but because power is symbolized to take control and the decision that you can make upon society. Because if you have no power, you can't make any decision. And I emphasize this power relationship in two different classes, in the character of Mercedes and the character of Captain Vidal. Mercedes has no power. She has to obey all the rules, she has to obey all the instruction, and she can't make any decision. While Captain Vidal is the top of the hierarchy, where he can make any decision, and all the people obey him. And he also even can choose the gender of the baby in Ophelia's murder. So yeah, we can see the difference between if you have power or you don't have any power. Okay. And so for the class struggle, I emphasize a bit during the Spanish Civil War between right-wing nationalists and left-wing Republican, where the government take the control of all industries and business, and they oppress the lower ground people, they oppress the lower middle class people, and whereas the middle class people seek for justice, seek for their right. So this is reveal the conflict between the different classes. And yeah, the continuing conflict between them will lead to the revolution and rebellion, which then cause the new form of social and economic base during the destruction of capitalism. So that's the two things I emphasize in this movie, which is power relationship and class struggle. And yeah, we can see all these things we can see in the Spanish civil during the Spanish Civil War. Your story blends elements of mythology and history. What kind of research did you have to do to write your script?
Well, based off Pan's Labyrinth movie is actually from The Devil's Backbone back in 2001. And ideas of this movie actually came from my own notebook that I've been keeping for 20 years. Since I was young, I've been collecting streams of fairy tales, and the kinds of fairy tales that I like are mostly the crazy ones, the ones that have a streak of abstractness in it. For Pan's Labyrinth, I think the one that has the most biggest influence on this movie is the sense of fairy tales. And actually, this story was supposed to be a different one from it's actually made. It's supposed to be a story of a married couple and the wife fall in love with the fawn in the labyrinth. But when I told the story to a friend of mine, Alfonso, the story suddenly changed, and it happens in our life, like the story changed when we talk to other people. And how I tell the story to Alfonso is exactly the same to how we made it later. And I did not write the script or anything before. I just keep the image of how the movie goes in my head. The characters, I picked the details of the characters, such as the characters of the fawn, from the books of the writers that I like, which are Borger, Blackwood, Machen, and also Dunsbury.
What was the biggest challenge in making supernatural characters, for example the fawn and the fairies, seem believable?
As we all know, Del Toro Pan's Labyrinth is one such film with full liberty to explore his magical, wild, and dark imagination. Del Toro was able to present one of the most exciting and harrowing stories ever seen on screen. We use a lot of method to record the film, especially we use close-up to film the way the insect. This is because Del Toro wanted to emphasize with the camera how significant the insect was. The insect is a very often favored by the camera because it was important that this creature was the guide to the girl into the labyrinth for the first time. For your information, Del Toro also one of the design of the Fun's leg system, of which he is very proud of it. He said that DDT X Factors specialists laughed at him because they did not think it would work. The Fun's legs are connected to the leg of the actor, and the actor puppeteers them with his own leg. The giant, besides that, we also use the giant puppet frog. It actually was supposed to move around, and Del Toro disagreed with DDP about how the frog would move because it was too heavy and would look small on a large set. The director was again correct. A huge set that had been built. And they had to shoot in the gallery of fruits instead of huge set that had been built. The frog looks bigger in a small set, and for your information too, half of the frog footage is CG and half puppets, and they were blended together.
How realistic is Ophelia's character? Does she behave in a way that is typical of a girl her age? Explain, please.
Okay, personally, I think the character of Ophelia is realistic in the context of film. She behaves in a way she should do when confronted with the situation of brutal world and imaginative world. However, she does act in the same trend a typical girl would do, but rather more deeper and ambitiously. Similar to a typical girl, she has her own imagination and dreams to pursue. She does believe in fairy tales, and she also hopes to be a princess just like how the Faun claimed her to be. Ophelia also obeys the Faun's orders, but she disobeyed during her second task, showing her streaks of rebellion as a teenage girl. So, do you think my character represents a good role model to young people?
Oh yes, in my opinion, Ophelia's character represents a good role for the young people out there. Because she is caring towards her brother and her mother. For example, in the movie, she put the mandrake roots under her mother's bed after the Faun state that the mandrake roots will cure her mother's illness and save her mother and the baby. And another example is she didn't give her brother to her stepfather because she loved her brother and she only had him, and she knew that her father is a bad guy. And in the movie, Ophelia exposed her bravery, which she completed all the tasks given by the Faun, even she is just a little girl and don't have a power.